Very serious topic, okay, environment. And from there I have come to recommendation system, which may be considered to be a very light topic, To speak the truth, recommendation system is nothing. It's basically a system where you take a user, give him a lot of options, and ask him that you choose one which you consider to be most suitable. That's all is the recommender system. Now, whether you recommend it yourself or it's recommended by others are the different issues altogether. Now, the question is basically the same. You have a lot of options and you are trying to find out one which is most suitable to you. Okay, now let's see. Why you need a system for it? Why you need a computation? Why you need a model? And why you need all this? We are using recommendations for so many years. Hey, I want to go to such and such movie. We ask some of our friends, you have seen it? Oh, you have seen it, how is it? He says, it's good. He said, that's bad. And you trust some of them, and you don't trust many of them. And then you get suggestions from your trusted friend. You go over and see the movie. And then come back and tell to that trusted friend, it's a trash. And then what do you do? Next time, you don't trust him. Okay? So, there are two issues. We are habituated with recommendation, so there is nothing so great about it. And the trust goes up and down. There is no fixed trust. Trust varies. You buy fish from a particular vendor every day, you trust him. One day you find it bad, rotten, the trust goes down. So these are the two issues. First issue is recommendation. Now the first is why we need a system. We need a system. Okay. Why we need a system? Because we are going from a environment of scarcity to abundance. You go to a restaurant, you go through the menu, you choose something which supports your pocket, of course, and then have it. Now you know why you need a recommender system. And whether you like it or not, you will say, this is not that great. But then you will go home and your wife asks for it and you go through the Swiggy list and the Zomato list once again. Without considering that you are using a system which is a recommender system. Okay, now let's see. You go to Walmart or any big shop. What they store only that much which they can accommodate in their shelves. So it is dependent on the shelf space. Okay? What they will keep in the shelf, the price range they like to keep, and those items which moves faster, moves more. So, as soon as you go to the cyberspace, from the shelf space, the situation changes. What it creates is something called, the pointer doesn't work. Okay. It's called the long tail phenomenon. You see, if you consider in a cyberspace, suppose you have the items, you are ranking the items by their popularity. You will find there will be a small set of items which has popularity is measured by that purchase per week. I've considered that as a figure. There are very few items which are worth keeping. But as soon as you go to the cyberspace, you go to the system, then there is a long tail. There are items which are apparently ranked low by the popularity, but they are there because they are never reaching to zero. On the right-hand side, it's a long tail. It's not zero. And now if you see from the computational point of view, the area on the right-hand side, the question is not recommendation. The question is finding the proper option from a large set. We'll come to, let me clarify one thing. At the end, I have given some references. You can go through these references. I will not refer any of them. Other thing is, go to a bookshop, and there will be a list of books, or there will be books displayed. Why? Those are the most popular one. Most popular one is basically simple aggregate. Those are sold the maximum sale in the last 1 week, last 1 month, and so on. And then comes the last one I said, the tailored or individual users. Netflix or Amazon, they would keep the data. What type of movies you are seeing? Oh, you are interested in romantic movies, so let me recommend you the romantic movies only. Forget about the thrillers. Okay? Now come to formal model. I must admit that I am not a very good speaker. And the second thing, I can hardly be very verbose. So what I do is, unless there is some computation, I don't feel at home. Although, you may be knowing that Stephen Hawking, in his Brief History of Time, very clearly mentioned that one equation may reduce your readership from 30 to 50%. But, at 70 plus, I can't change myself. Anyway, basically what I have in the formal model, a set of customers and a set of items. And I'm trying to create certain ranking. By the ranking, I will decide which particular item should go to which particular customer, and so on. So it's basically a mapping from, or an utility function, C into S, mapping to R. Okay. Now, ultimately, it goes to something like this. Something like this. Matrix. So there are movies, 7 movies, and there are 4 persons, A, B, C, D. They have ranked those movies. There is some interesting thing to note here. Drawing this matrix is very easy. But the point is, having the data, putting data in that matrix is extremely difficult. But the simple thing is, most of the people will not rank most of them.
So I really like to thank you, Professor Bagchi, for such an insightful presentation. I especially liked your enthusiasm. So my primary question is, what do you think of attention and self-attention in the recommendation engine space? I mean, trust is obviously, something very innovative. I haven't actually heard of something like this, so this is very enlightening. So what's your opinion on the new age stuff that's going on, especially with ChatGPT and all those things, with self-attention, attention. So do you have any comments on such things as far as recommendation systems are concerned?
So far as I know, ChatGPT is not giving you any recommendation, giving you answers.
No, what I'm asking is that ChatGPT is based on self-attention. So do you see self-attention as something that could be used in recommendation systems?
Totally a wrong notion. You see, behind ChatGPT, there is a huge database. Otherwise, the answers can. And logical deduction. These are not recommendation. Recommendation is always a statistical computation. All statistical computations are very approximate. ChatGPT is not supposed to give you approximate answer. It either will give you the answer or won't give you the answer, depending on whether the best data is there and logical deduction is possible. This will not give you an approximate result. I mean, all these computations that you do, or statistical computations do, are all giving approximate results. These recommendations are approximate results. Be sure of it. These are all approximate results. And to be very very specific. There is one man from statistics is there. Statistics lives on uncertainty. If there is no uncertainty, there is no statistics. The subject will not exist. So it has nothing, it's not comparable to ChatGPT.
No, I mean, I get the idea of, ChatGPT using a database and all those things, but ChatGPT is also capable of intelligently learning and adapting to whatever you feed it. Like you can give it an answer and say, no, that's not an exactly correct answer, and ChatGPT will actually adapt to that. That is where the self-attention is coming from. So I was just asking, regardless of the fact that whether ChatGPT is using a database or not, my question is specifically restricted to the attention part. So like, do you think attention by itself as a technique could be used as a supplement to something like a trust-based recommendation? I mean, I'm not getting into the technicalities of it, but attention as a concept?
I don't know whether I'm capable of answering this. The question is, attention is definitely there. And without attention, there is no learning. It's our common sense. If there is no learning, there is no knowledge gained. If there is no knowledge gained, nothing can be done. That's always true. I'm sorry, I don't know whether that answers your question, but
no, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you kind of, have given a brief idea. I mean, maybe I should do some research on my own as well, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Please, welcome.
At which circumstances we should recognize, we should understand that at which model should be applied at which practical applications. Suppose in this case, composite model in this case. So in this case, how do you understand that at which circumstances we have to use or we have to implement the which model?
You see, to start with, I said that there is a cold start environment.
Exactly.
If you are absolutely inexperienced on certain area, suppose you want to go somewhere, searching for hotels. Okay, you are totally inexperienced, never gone out. So in that case, you will have to depend on others. That's what you do. You go to TripAdvisor, you go to Make My Trip and all those things. Those are all external suggestions. And then you take a decision. And then you come back and say that, okay, that suggestion was good. And here again, you have a lot of parameters to consider. The parameters like the type of place you want to go, whether you want to go to hills or you want to go to seaside or you want to go to a historical place and so on. And you have your budgets, you have the type of hotel, and etc., etc. So you build the trust. It depends entirely on how much experience you have. You see, the content-based system will be applicable only when you have some content. So if you don't have a content, there is no question of any content-based system. So how much experience you have, how much you feel that you know. When you go to the daily market, you are usually dependent on your content-based knowledge only. When you go to, say, reading a book from the library, you may. If you are not a regular library goer, you can take opinion from others. It depends.